Everyone, it's Ethan or Miss back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another CDL video, and I'm super excited to talk about this one. Today we're going to be looking at the earnings from each CDL team in this year's competition of Call of Duty Vanguard. Of course, the season is now over, so let's talk about it. Let's take a look. So, of course, here are the events for this year. Starting off with the Kickoff Classic, Toronto Ultra 1 beating the Seattle Surge. Then at Major 1, Optic Texas 1, of course, beating Atlanta FaZe. Major 2, the insane losers bracket run from the LA Guerrillas, beating the Atlanta FaZe. The Pro-Am Classic, of course, New York Subliners beating the Los Angeles Thieves. Then, of course, Major 3, another crazy run from the Seattle Surge, beating the Atlanta FaZe. Then at Major 4, of course, the LA Thieves going on another crazy run to defeat New York's crazy run of the Major 4 win. And then, of course, COD Champs, LA Thieves, they get their Champs ring. Finally, Octane, Envoy, and Kenny get their ring. Of course, it was 3 Champs finals now for Kenny. He finally gets his ring. That's crazy that he could have 3 rings right now. Octane, I believe, 2 Grand Finals at Champs, finally gets his ring. Envoy and Draza's first Champs final, and they get their ring, so good for them. But yeah, of course, LA beating Atlanta. And now, technically, since Atlanta did not win an event, technically Toronto did this year. Toronto is the only team through each season to win an event so far in the CDL era. So, of course, if you go back to the Toronto Ultra home series back in MW, they won their home series against Atlanta. Of course, this is my Google Sheets, guys. Once I finish everything, I plan on sharing it for you guys. You guys can take a look at it. I think it's pretty cool, just keeping track of everything really in the CDL era. Of course, Crimsix has way more than 4 chips. Yeah, this is just purely for the CDL era. So yeah, of course, like I said, Toronto won an event in MW, of course. Then you go to Cold War. They obviously won an event there as well. And at this point, then Atlanta and Toronto were the only teams to have won an event each season. And then going into Vanguard, of course, technically Toronto won the kickoff, which is considered an event. I've seen on Lionman's cards that he considered it as a chip. So technically it is a chip. Same with the Pro-Am, so that's another chip for Crim. While for the Toronto boys, that's another chip for them. So yeah, technically Toronto is the only team to have won an event in each 3 games of the CDL era, of course. Dallas/Texas technically have won 2 out of 3. And then now, of course, Atlanta has won 2 out of 3. Same for New York, actually, has won 2 out of 3. So, yeah, very interesting, of course. But let's actually take a look at earnings. So I've got earnings and placements of every game from each team. Of course, for Vanguard this year, Atlanta FaZe won $1.1 million this year, which is actually the least amount they've ever won. Over in MW, they won $1.14 million. In Cold War, they almost won $2 million, and then in Vanguard, they win $1.102 million. So obviously, a lot of money there. They're up to $3.5 million total earnings in the CDL era, which is insane. Next year, I have no doubt they surpass $4 million, and it's very possible they surpass $5 million. Their average earnings per season is like $1.3 million, so almost $1.3 million. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Then we go to the Boston Breach. Of course, their opening season, an up and down year for them, winning $152,000 this year is not bad, to be fair. Of course, yeah, I mean, they get that 3rd place at Major 2. That really helps. That's over half of their earnings. But yeah, like I said, an up and down year for the Breach. More so on the lower half for the Breach. Then we continue on to the Florida Mutineers, winning $92,000 this year. Of course, they get that 4th place over in Major 2, which was their highest placing of the year. And of course, they didn't qualify for Champs. So yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy for the Mutineers there either. Then you go to the Royal Ravens. down here. I mean, an interesting year for them. They started off the year so strong at Major 1, winning $80,000. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the bulk of their winnings this season. Yeah, unfortunately for them, just weren't able to find anything after that. Get top 8 at Major 2. They didn't win anything at the Pro-Am. They didn't even qualify for the Pro-Am. They just lost in group play. And then Major 3, again, top 8. Major 4, top 12. And then, again, top 8 at Champs, which is $30,000 take home, but still, yeah, only $130,000 for the boys over in London. Then you go to the Gorillas. The Gorillas are an interesting story. They've only earned $240,000 throughout their entire history of the CDL. $10,000 in MW, $20,000 in Cold War, and then $210,000 this year in Vanguard. So obviously they go on one of the craziest losers bracket runs ever at Major 2, winning $200,000. So, you know, they get their first chip as well. Most of those players get, actually I think all of them got their first chip in the CDL era, except for Hook, yeah. So yeah, very interesting, of course. They're very happy for Slasher and Asim. It was Asim's first chip, and then it was Slasher's first since LAT back in BO4, so that's pretty cool as well. Then, of course, on to the Thieves. Very interesting for them. It's not great. I mean, with their LAOG earnings, they're up to almost $2 million. With LAOG from MW, they won $360,000, but of course, everything comes from this year, basically. 1.5 million earnings this year. That's the most earnings from any team this year. Of course, number 2 is Atlanta. But yeah, LAT winning Champs obviously gets that big 1.2 million jackpot. And I mean, yeah, overall, they had a pretty steady year. Then they just peaked at the very right time. You know, nothing at the kickoff. Placing top 6 at Major 2. That is just not right. That's supposed to be 5th, 6th. Is that supposed to be 5th, 6th? I believe so. Let me go take a look at that really quickly, actually. Let me just make sure. I need the actual major, please. Yeah, okay, 5th, 6th. Just wanted to make sure. I was going to say, I don't know why that's 5th, 8th, because that's just not the format of Major 2. But yeah, $20,000 from Major 2, $50,000 for finishing second at the Pro-Am, and that's really where they peaked. They started at the Pro-Am halfway through the year, which is funny to think because, I mean, at the halfway point, they started winning, really. I mean, they finished second at the Pro-Am, they finished 4th at Major 3, then they go back-to-back at Major 4 and Champs. Again, most of their money coming from Champs, obviously, but still, a pretty solid season for the LA Thieves. Honestly, looking at it like this, a second, then a 4th, a win, and then a win, that's really good. That's a very good average. Obviously, the start of the year, they just struggled to find their form, but then they did find their form, so very interesting. Wait, what am I doing? Major 3, that's not right either. Fuck me. What am I doing? Wait. What? Okay, wait a second. Okay, I'm looking at Cold War. What am I doing? Alright. Wait a second. Alright, 1 second. I totally just screwed this up then, I think. Let me go to the LA Thieves. And then let me see their earnings for Vanguard. There we go. Yeah, 4th. Okay, that is right. That's 40,000. I did the math wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm just not using my brain. Let me add another 20,000 to their earnings. There we go. There. All right, very close to 2 million now. There we go. That's better. Sorry, guys. My bad. Nonetheless, moral of the story, the most earnings goes to the Thieves this year. Then we go to Minnesota. A very down year for Minnesota. Of course, year 1, nothing too crazy. They had a very good start to the season, and then they completely fell off. Year 2, started the season kind of slow, then really peaked towards the end of the season, of course, winning Major 5, placing 4th at Champs. That's that year they won the most they have. And then this year, not good from the Minnesota Rocker. Nothing at the kickoff. Top 8 at Major 1, top 12 at Major 2. Didn't even qualify for the Pro-Am. Top 8 at Major 3, top 12 at Major 4. And of course, they didn't even qualify for Champs, so only 20,000 take home for the Rocker. Subliners are an interesting story this year as well. Of course, crazy for them. I mean, they started off this year so poorly. Top 4 at the kickoff, which actually isn't that bad. But then top 12 at Major 1, top 12 at Major 2. They, of course, win the Pro-Am, which is big for them. Then they place top 12 on or at Major 3. They go on the insane not losers run, but they go on the insane run to redeem their season to get to to Champs. They place 2nd at Major 4, and then, of course, top 6 at Champs, winning $300,000 this year. So only 3 events out of the 7 they actually won money. So didn't win anything at kickoff, although no one did except for Toronto. Didn't win anything at Major 1, didn't win anything at Major 2, and didn't win anything at Major 3. So, although to be fair, again, New York peaked at the right time. You know, winning the Pro-Am, I mean, that didn't count for their standings, but I'm sure that was a boost of morale for them. But again, they peaked at Major 4. I mean, they had a great Major 3 qualifiers as well. But yeah, they peaked at Major 4. Then we go to the Legion. This org, man. $150,000 through all 3 seasons of the CDL. They won $140,000 of that $150,000 in Modern Warfare. $0 last year and only $10,000 this year, placing top 8 at Major 1. So, yeah, pretty interesting, of course. Obviously, I mean, you look at this, like, they place... oh, wait. I did the math wrong. I didn't even add it. My bad. Sorry. Okay, I guess I just should have... I thought I had added everything to this already, but I'm sorry, guys. I definitely just missed some things. So, 22,500 this year for the Paris Legion. So, yeah, my bad. I didn't even realize that. My bad. Let me go edit that as well. So 162,500 for the Paris Legion. Still, I believe that is the least out of any organization. It would have been the Guerrillas if they didn't win the event this year. But yeah, the Legion winning $22,000 this year. Of course, top 12 at the kickoff, top 8 at Major 1, which doesn't look too bad for them, and then top 12, top 8 at the Pro-Am, top 12, and of course didn't qualify for Champs, I guess, sorry. Then we go to the Seattle Surge. Everything basically comes this year. They've won a total of $590,000. $540,000 of that came this year. This is definitely the best roster they've had, I'd say. Started off the year slow. I mean, they had that 2nd place at the kickoff. They looked incredible, but then right into Major 1, it went downhill. Yeah, top 6 for Seattle at Major 2. Didn't qualify for the Pro-Am. Of course, they peak at Major 3, winning the event. Had a very poor Major 4, and then had a really good Champs performance, winning $320,000, taking home 3rd at Champs. Then we go to Texas Optic. Of course, they technically are under the Dallas organization, so they've got $2.6 million earnings, and obviously all of that comes from Dallas, only winning $465,000 this year, although I believe that is that's 4th in earnings this year. I think number 1 is LAT, number 2 is Atlanta, number 3 is Seattle, and then number 4 is Texas, of course. So, yeah, I mean, didn't do anything at the kickoff. Won Major 1, only placed top 6 at Major 2. Of course, that was with the crazy amount of roster changes that they were doing, though. And then the Pro-Am, they placed top 4, top 6 again at Major 3, top 4 at Major 4, and then 4th at Champs. And then to end it off, the Toronto Ultra winning $275,000 this year. Pretty interesting. Again, the only team to win any money at the kickoff because they won it. Major 1, they placed 4th. Major 2, they placed top 12. That was the first time since way back in MW. Let me see. Way back in MW. The last time they didn't win any earnings was at the Paris Legion home series. So they won at the New York Subliners home series, the London Royal Ravens home series. They didn't compete. The Toronto Ultra home series, they won money at Champs. They won money at every event last year in Cold War, and then up until Major 2. That was the first time they didn't win anything, which is pretty crazy. That's a crazy run. Of course, there's only really one other team that's like that, and it's Atlanta. But yeah, top 4 at Major 1 without winning a hard point. Who knows what they could have done at that event if they had won a hard point. You never know. Major 2, of course, they ended up losing to the eventual winners of the Gorillas. Then at the Pro-Am, they placed top 4. Major 3, they placed 3rd, of course, at the Toronto home series. They played probably the best they did all year. Major 4 placed top 6, and then at Champs, they placed top 6. So an interesting year for Toronto as well. So yeah, least amount of earnings this year goes to the Legion at 22,000, or sorry, goes to the Rocker at 20,000, my bad. Most earnings goes to the LA Thieves at $1.5 million. So very interesting looking at that throughout the year. It's really cool, I find. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the earnings for every team this year. I'm very intrigued to know what you think. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.